Hey, coaches, one of the things we mentioned about control was to have control of the body. When you get through striding, you're in the hitting position, and you better be in control at that time. Now, if you look at Mika right here at the plate, and you watch her stride, she's got a very long stride. And at the end of that stride, her body is not in control. If you don't control your body, you can't explode, and you don't have control of where the bat goes. You know, you've got to be able to swing the bat with control and force. She's overstriding very much, and part of that problem could be that her feet are together. Hold on just a minute, Mika. Let me see if we can do something here for you. When you take your stance, if you notice, your feet are very close together. Go ahead and get in your stance for me just a minute, like you were. Your feet are real close together, and then look where you end up. You're ending up way out there, and you're getting really spread out. To hit a ball, you've got to have control of your body. Does that make sense? To have control. I mean, you got to make the bat go where you want it to. If your body's not in control, the bat won't go where you want it to. And you're getting so spread out with this long stride and your weight's going forward and everything that your body's really out of control. One thing that might help you, and we're going to try some things here, one thing that might help you is that in your stance, start with your feet a little bit wider apart. Why don't you spread your feet out a little bit when you start off with and see if that'll help you a minute, okay? Go ahead and hit a few more with your feet spread out. Now, what we've done, coaches, is spread her feet out just a little bit, something that's a little comfortable for her, and see now if that'll cut down on that stride. You know, and if you watch that one right there, she still took a very long stride and she's still out of control. All right, that was a bad pitch, so we didn't really get to see her stride too much. There's another long stride. Her weight was really far forward. Mika's got a very serious problem here with body control, and that's probably one of the most important factors in hitting. We're going to have to spend some time with Mika working on getting her better body control. Remember the B's and the E's and the body. You start with that stance, but by the time you get into the hitting position, you've got to have good body control. Mika's got a problem with that, as you can see. All right, hold on just a minute, Mika. That didn't seem to work for you. And sometimes coaches kind of like our doctors. You ever been to the doctor, you got sick and they gave you one kind of medicine and it didn't work? Yeah. And they had to change the medicine or something? Coaches, we have to do the same kind of thing when we work with hitters. And so we tried to spread your stance out to see if that would help you a little bit. It didn't seem to. You're going to have to require major surgery a little bit, okay? You mind going through some surgery?
Not
okay. Why don't we go over here and get us a tea or something and we'll work on that, okay? Hey, Mickey, why don't you just stop right over here just a minute and I'll get us a tea. And what we want to do is work on trying to get this stride corrected. And I'm going to have you hit into the fence, and I'm going to use some safety balls or maybe even some plastic balls before we get through here. To start with, what you're having trouble with is controlling your body. When you take your stride and that stride foot comes down, your body's out of control because it's too spread out and whatever else. So we want to try to find out where it is right for you to hit from. You've got a stance and then you've got a hitting position, and we want to try to find your hitting position. All right, what I want you to do for a couple of times is just put your feet together, just touching each other, and hit the ball against the fence without a step. Just swing right there. All right, now do one more. All right, how does that feel?
It doesn't feel good because my feet are too close together.
Yeah, your feet are too close together. You know that's not right, and it's kind of silly for me to do that, but it lets you become aware of the fact that you don't have good control when your feet are together, because I can push you around pretty easy that way. All right, let's spread them out. All right, spread them way out, okay? All right, and let's see what that works like. If they won't work together, maybe they'll work spread out. All right, let's try that. All right, we're not worried about where you hit the ball, just kind of how it feels and everything. All right, you hit it pretty good, but how does that feel?
It's not comfortable because they're too far apart.
They're too far apart now, and we knew that when we started that, really. Coaches, what I'm trying to do is kind of create an awareness of the player to realize that if the feet are too close together, that's not control, and if they're too far apart, you can't get control very well, and you certainly can't get explosion when your feet are spread too far apart. So why don't you bring them back a little bit closer than you had them? You had them really spread out. Spread them out some, but not quite as much. All right, try that. All right, is that still too spread out a little bit? All right, let's do this, and why don't you put them where you want them? All right, and not a stance, but where you're going to actually hit from, okay? All right, you want to try them about right there, and let's mark that and kind of see what that looks like. One's there, and one's over here, all right? You just swing, no step. All right, go ahead and pivot your body and everything, and turn your body as you hit. All right, how does that feel? Is that about the right distance?
Yes.
Okay, now, Coaches, we may not find the exact distance that we're looking for right here, but we're playing around with that and trying to find it. And we're going to do it in a fun way that I think Mika will like. Okay, Mika, what we're going to do is say that right there, that's where you hit from. That's going to be where your boyfriend lives, okay? So let's make a mark here. And we're going to say that's where your boyfriend lives. Now, if you had a choice, would you want to live close to your boyfriend or way away from him?
Close to him.
Close to him, all right? So why don't you back that foot up a little bit, about right there. Now, earlier, when you were hitting a while ago at the plate, you had your foot back here. You were living a long way from your boyfriend. What we're trying to do is get you to live close to your boyfriend. Here's your home right here. And all you're going to do to hit, really, is go from your stance, which is where you live, to your boyfriend's house, which is where you're going to hit from. And so all you've got to learn to do is make that very short trip. By making a short trip, coaches, she's got less chance of an accident. She's got less chance of a problem along the way, so we're trying to get her to take a shorter stride so it's easier for her to hit. You can hit with a long stride, but it makes it harder. So we're trying to shorten her stride here and let her find out just what it's like. All right? Why don't you stride to that, see if you can take that stride and hit. See how that feels. All right, now, she took a little bit of a longer stride, and that's normal. You just go ahead and take your stride. Okay, and she's finding that place. Now, we need to work now on how to make that trip. See, we found out that that's where you like to stand or live. That's where you like to go to your boyfriend's house or hit. So what we want to do now is learn how to step that distance. All right, let's do that right over here. Let's just forget our lines a minute. And this grass is where your boyfriend lives, okay?
Okay.
And this is where you live. So what I want you to do is just stand there and take steps to where your boyfriend lives. Get used to taking that right there. Just come back and keep doing that for a minute. Just a short stride. And you're trying to see what that feels like to take that step, so your muscles kind of remember that. All right, now you don't have to use grass. You might just use dirt, like we were doing just a minute ago, or you might use a batting tee. Okay, now you take that same kind of step just to the edge of the tee. And if you step too far, look what happens. Take a long stride this time. Now you realize you took too long of a stride because you ended up on top of the tee. It's just a way for you to practice that. All right, now, even though you take a short trip, if you were going to go from your house to your boyfriend's house, and he just lived 1 block away, could you have a wreck on the way?
Yes.
You could, couldn't you? Even though it's short, you're less likely to have a wreck or a problem, but you could. Same thing with the stride. Coaches, even with a short stride, you can have your body out of control. And I'm going to show you that with Mika right now. What I want you to do is take a short step, but take all of your weight with that step. See if you can do that. Because I see she's out of control right there. See? But she took a short step, but she took too much weight with it. So what we want you to be able to do is take a short step, because that makes it easier to keep control, but we also want you to make sure you do keep control when you do that. What I want you to do right now is take that short step, and what I'm going to do is hold you right back here. And you put your hands up like you've got a bat in them. Take that short stride, and if your weight goes forward, you're going to feel me pull on you. If you've got your weight under control, you won't feel much of a tug back here. So you try to take a short step. Go ahead and get your hands kind of together. Take a short step and try to keep your weight back here. Not much of a tug, was it? No. Okay, try that a couple of times. All right, good. That's kind of a light step instead of a heavy step. This time kind of step heavy. Take a lot of weight with it and feel the difference. Feel what that's like? Mm-hmm. So you're out of control that direction. And you don't want to be out of control that direction because the ball's out here. All right, try it again with a light step. Okay, and see, now you're in control. All right, now, another drill that will do the same thing, Mika, is if I get you in your stance and I put my leg up against yours. Mm-hmm. We could also do this, coaches, with a fence post or a bat or the edge of a tee or a wall or anything like that, something pressing against the back leg from about the knee down to the ground. Now, what I want you to do is to take your stride, but don't leave me, because I get real lonely if you leave my leg, okay? So you try to take a step, you know, forward, but not leave me. And see, by doing that, you're keeping your weight back here and toward the middle of your body. Now take a step to show the wrong way. Take your weight with you. See what happens to our legs? Mm-hmm. Do that again. See, now you're out of control forward again, see? Okay, Mika, let's do that a couple more times. And again, what you want to do is when you step or stride, you want to do that without leaving my leg so that your weight stays in the middle of your body, okay? All right. That's it. It's kind of like you're stepping onto some ice out there and you don't want to fall through it. Real thin ice, you'd be real careful with it, wouldn't you? So that's kind of what you're doing here. All right, try that one more time. All right, now coaches, you again can do this same drill with a fence post, or we could do 2 players with it at the same time. You can do it on a wall, you can do it on a bat, you can do it on a tee, or whatever. Or you may even watch me and Mika do it at the same time. I'm a left-handed hitter, although I could turn around and be a right-handed hitter. And we might can even get our legs together, and we both are going to stride, all right? I'll say stride, and we both stride, stride. And see, we stay together. Let's try that again. So 2 players can do this at a time, stride. And so we're both pretty much under control, all right? And you feel like you got balance there, and you're not leaning one way or the other. All right, now let's take that, and we're going to go to a tee, so you're going to need to get your bat again, okay? Get your bat. Now, what I'm going to have you do is stride, and then wait a few seconds before you swing. Coaches, the swing comes right after the stride. You don't stride and swing at the same time. If you did, you'd be swinging the bat while your foot was in the air. You take a stride, then there's a slight delay, depending on the timing of the pitch, and then the swing. So what we want Mika to find out is that after she takes that stride, she's got to be in control. And so we're going to do a delayed tee drill here. If she's out of control, she'll realize it because she's going to want me to say swing. And as long as I wait, she's going to feel uncomfortable because she's out of control. If she's in control, she'll be able to just stand there as long as I want her to. Let's see how this works. All right, I'm going to say stance, stride, hit. Okay? All right, stance, stride, hit. All right, very good. We're not worried about where the ball goes, but see, when you got through, you had control. You didn't fall backwards, you didn't fall forward or anything. You were in control of yourself. All right, let's try a few more of those. We also could do this with a ball toss. All right, stance, stride. How do you feel?
In control.
Okay, good. Hit. All right, very good. Now, you got spread out a little bit that time, but not too bad. All right, stance, stride, hit. All right. That time you may not have taken quite as long a stride as you needed to, but you kind of felt awkward. See, now you're aware. Remember, coaches, when we talked about conscious incompetence? You could see at that time in Mika's eyes when she got there, she realized she wasn't quite right. A while ago, she wouldn't have known that. Now she's conscious, she's aware of her problem, and she's willing to work at it. Try that a few more times. Stance, stride, you're at your boyfriend's house, hit. All right, very good. She's got control. She's got control. All right, stance, stride, jump. All right, she started to swing because she didn't know I was going to say that, and you can surprise them. And now she'll be aware of that. When you get to that position, you're supposed to be balanced or in control. If you're balanced or in control, you should be able to explode and jump. You're getting ready to explode and hit, you ought to be able to explode and jump from the same place. So that's a great way to do this. So now I'm going to mix that in a little bit, okay? All right, stance, stride, hit. All right, good. All right, you started falling a little bit then, but where was it?
Forward.
This way. That's okay because that's where the ball is. We had some hitters earlier, coaches, who were falling back away from the ball. You got a problem then. If you swing and you're a little off balance toward the ball, that's a way to tell yourself, hey, I did things right. I kept my weight here. So you did a lot of things good on that one, okay? That's one of those times sometimes you want to stop. That's a teachable moment when you see a kid do that and point that out to them. All right, stance, stride, jump. All right, good. You came right back down, you feel good. You ought to even be able to hit from there again. All right, stance, stride, hit. All right, very good, very good. One more time, stance, stride, catch a ground ball. All right, see, it's the same position basically. And look how your feet are spread. You got balance, you got control. Very good job. Do you feel now what control is like?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you went up in a game like we were a while ago in batting practice, if you went back up there, that wouldn't happen, okay? Because we haven't practiced it enough yet. We would need to practice it more before it became automatic in a game. But you've become aware of what control is and you've learned some ways to work on it. Now, coaches, Mika's done a very good job showing you how players can drill to get better control of their body. When she was at the plate earlier, she was very out of control with a long stride and getting too stretched out. With the body out of control, You can't control the bat and make it go where you want to. Your eyes lose control. They don't see the pitches well when your body's out of control because your eyes are at the top part of your body. As your body's doing all of this moving, your eyes are floating around. They're not going to see the ball as well. And if your body's out of control, you certainly cannot explode with accuracy. And that's what hitting really is, a controlled explosion, as we mentioned to you earlier when we talked about the mechanics. Now, Mika has shown you some ways to work at that. She's shown that she can accomplish something and get her body under control. Be aware of the fact that Mika is approaching what we call conscious competence. You saw Mika get a lot better at this. Conscious competence means that you can do it right while you're thinking about it. You got to be patient. When Mika gets into a game now, she's going to overstride and be out of control because she has not practiced it enough times correctly yet. But she's well on the way to becoming a better hitter because she's getting her body under control. Work with your hitters on this. It's one of the very, very major points of being a good hitter.